Well, good evening, DPF Nation. Welcome to season 2, episode 9. Did I get it right, Chris? We're calling this one Yay Pitching, Hitting, Boo. Don't forget, brought to you DPF On Tap, brought to you by Pensive Technology. For all your internet sound security, TV installation, intercom access needs, reach out to Pensive Technology at pensivetechnology.com today. Talk to Chris. He's a good dude, man. I just met him a couple weeks ago. Just remember too, whenever DPF is out and about, and even at home at the DPF garage or the DPF basement bar, we're drinking Philly Standard, guys. It's Yards Brewing Philly Standard. They did an entire emergency brew just for DPF Nation. So go out and check it out at your local places. Remember, when Schwarber hits a bomb, go on their app and there's, I don't know what, 15 or 16, something like that, bars where you can get a free beer every time he hits a homer. Yep. I know that's only been twice so far, but hopefully there's like 45 more coming. Check us out on our Facebook page with all of our merch, guys. So we got really cool stuff. We got these Philly. If I knew how to place it in the camera, that'd be awesome. We got Philly Drunk Phillies fans tumblers. We've got these amazing shoes. They are so comfortable. They're canvas. They're kind of like hey dudes. I love them. I brought them out to Albuquerque with me where I'm at now. Everybody's got some sort of t-shirt or like a hoodie. So check us out on our Facebook page on the Shop Now button. Last thing I want to plug before we get going here today is I don't know if you guys have heard, but on May 18th, we're doing a group night at Citizens Bank Park. So go on the Phillies site, type in DPF 2024. You get a group rate discount. And then I want you to go onto No Fly Zone's website and purchase the ticket for the tailgate. $50. All you can eat and drink. They got Philly Standard. They're going to have Kiki Vodka and Kiki Vodka seltzers or tea drinks. They're also going to have some sort of Jello shots or some sort of specialty drinks. And it's all you can eat, like Primo's Hoagies. They make pizzas on site. The wings I had there at the opening weekend game were amazing. There's also a $30 option for designated drivers, all you can eat sodas and waters. Check us out. The last thing I'll say about our May 18th game is it's the salute to service game for the Phillies at Citizens Bank Park. So we made a salute to service shirt, and we are partnering with our friends at Battle Brothers Foundation. They help current and former servicemen and women that are in need, and we're giving 100% of the proceeds of any of those shirts from our shop on Facebook to Battle Brothers Foundation to help with those folks that, kind of help us be able to do this every day for our freedom. I will give one more shout out. Underneath my name, it says I'm in Albuquerque this week. My daughter is competing in nationals for club gymnastics for Penn State University. So go Penn State.
Awesome.
Good stuff, guys.
Get it.
Well, it's been 10, 12 days of the season. And so, I think we want to dive in here and we want to talk about, a bunch of the things that are going on. So what I really want to do is I want to start, Chris, with you and just a quick observation that I have that I want your opinion on. So
sure.
The very first extra inning game, it was last week. They panned over to the dugout, and it was right before we were coming up to bat in the top of the or bottom of the 10th, I think, because we were at home, and it was Whit Merrifield and Bryson Stott standing at the top of the dugout and like embroiled in conversation, right? And I thought that was like, to me, that is a really cool extra piece that Wit brings, right? So I guess my question is, what do you think Wit brings as a mentor to like an up and coming Bryson Stott?
Uh, I don't know if it's just him, right? I think he's been around, and I think he obviously brings some wisdom to the team. Uh, I think that I don't want him as a mentor. I expect him to be more of a contributor, and he hasn't yet. But if he is behind the scenes, but maybe those are the two guys that shouldn't be talking right now because they're both hitting about 200. So maybe one of them should talk to Bohm or someone who's hitting above 250. But I think when
that's a lonely conversation. That's a lonely conversation.
Yeah. It might be someone in just the last 2 days batted above 250. I think that when you look at the bench position, I think that having someone who is able to be in a situation, maybe not in the playoffs, but kind of say, like, hey, look for this, look for that. But like, honestly, do we really need that? I mean, isn't Bryce already doing this pretty well? Like Bryce and Stott are close. So I want Witt to perform. I'm sure that he's going to provide value to some of the players. But I don't think that that's the reason why he was brought here.
Fair
I don't
enough.
think that was the first reason why he was brought here. I'll say that.
No, I just thought it was cool when I saw them hanging out talking baseball. Like, however many years he's been an all-star, and in the league and that kind of thing.
Okay, so just from that aspect, yeah, like, I'd rather see that than like two guys sitting on the bench, like, spitting seeds into a coffee cup or something. So, our belief is that they were talking about like, hey, expect this pitch, expect that pitch. This is going to come. But he could have been giving him new dad advice too. We don't know.
So I was thinking about that earlier as a question, but we'll get to that later. Dugan, I'm interested. This is kind of a carryover question from last week, but Blanco on the Astros, no hit the Jays in the first week of the season. So just let that sink in for a quick second. He threw 9 innings, however many pitches, 120 something, if I remember right. So what are your thoughts on that? And do you think if the Phil's starters had a no-no going through the 7th, 8th, or 9th, the first week of the year, the second week of the year, June, would they, in air quotes, be allowed to go for it?
That's a good question. I like that question. Obviously, it was impressive. Blanco pitching a no-hitter. I think they said it was only like his 8th or 9th career start too. So he's really kind of a young guy to throw a no-hitter. So that's impressive. But I would be shocked to see the Phillies let a guy go that far just because of the way Topper manages, especially this early in the season. He seems to really have guys, especially the first time through, it seems like they were around 80 pitches. And once they kind of hit that 80 point, he was already itching to get somebody else in the game. And so I definitely think 100 would be pushing it. But 120, I don't think they would ever see it. We'd be praying for a combined no-hitter at that point.
Yeah. I mean, especially I crafted that question last week before even Turnbull this week. They took him out after what, 6 was it? And we were all in our chat like, listen, he should at least go out for the 7th, if not more.
Yeah, he definitely should have.
Well, I think there's the Lorenzen point to it too, right, Chris? That has to be in Rob Thompson's, idea. Like, shit, maybe I did this and look what happened after that. The dude went to shit. So I don't think he's ever going to allow that. Wheeler, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. But I think the biggest difference is Lorenzen's no hitter happened so late later in the season. It was like September. So he had been starting all year and been really stretched out, where early in the season, Topper seems to be really watching guys pitch count and trying to get them out before they are overextended, So that early in the season would have been an interesting decision for him to see if he would have rode it out. But glad the Astros did, because it's you don't see a no hitter every day. So,
and that was after one of our podcasts, right? That was like I think after episode. I remember commenting in the group chat. I said, I hope this kid gets it soon, because you could see he was getting gassed. He was throwing like 80-mile-per-hour, like floaters, like in the corner to the zone and all. And I was surprised he got Guerrero at that point, like that last inning. But
yeah, I think he threw six no-hit innings his next start too. He started the next game like 6 innings of no-hit ball. Yeah. So.
Good point, John. Can you guys hear me?
We got you now, Mike.
Yep,
we got
You
you.
broke out a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Johnny.
Yep.
Another kind of, still happening, but a little bit from last week. And, tell us a little bit about what the call up to the Blue Claws could mean for Jordan.
I think it could be big. I mean, he's going to be their starting catcher no matter what. Because I was kind of worried, because I thought maybe they would have kept Cal Brickett's like down for a little bit more, but he just moved up to Reading, and he's actually doing pretty good up there. He's catcher for / first base. And what I didn't really notice until today, he's like in the top 30 of the prospects. Ricketts. I actually. Not any bias or anything, because I like the guy and he's a local kid, but my personal opinion, just watching them play like last year, for Clearwater and Jersey Shore respectively, I think Disson's the better catcher. I think that'll reflect as they move up, but it's going to be mean. It's going to mean big things for Jordan, because so far he's been doing good. His debut, he drew a couple walks. He hit a RBI double last night. His swing's looking good. I was talking to his dad. Unfortunately, I couldn't get to that game Sunday because I overslept like an asshole. But I told him. But his dad's going to be over. His dad's going to be here for plenty. He's going to fly in from Cali for plenty of games. He said, so we'll hook up. And I plan on not next weekend, but the weekend after that, I'm gonna go over and catch a game. But it means big things. I think if he works, he grinds his ass off. If he puts in that work like he did in the season last year, in that playoff run for the Clearwater, and in the off season, from what I've seen of him, and the little inside scoop I got from his dad, like. I see him moving up a level each year, probably you know what I mean? Like by the end of the year, or even in the off season, like out of camp going to Reading next year.
Cool. Thank you. I'm going to stay on catchers for a minute, but I'm also going to switch over to, we literally had a game time fuck the Mets. Thank you, Bud Dulk. I appreciate that. As soon as we turned it on, Bud gave us a fuck the Mets. At 5:02, my daughter literally was asking where her shout out was, and it must have came at 5:04 because she said we are. So pretty funny.
What took so long?
I know, it took me 2 whole fucking minutes. Thanks a lot. Give me like 2 seconds here. Cool. So I want to stay with catchers. So Dugan, I got one for you. JT has caught over 130 games the past 3 seasons. Do you see the organization going out and getting a more viable backup by the trade deadline? And does Double D have the gumption to deal our resident DJ?
No and no. I think Stubbs stays all year. I wanted to make that move in the offseason when Stubbs was a free agent. I didn't want them to re-sign him. I was hoping they were going to upgrade that position this offseason. I like Stubbs. I think he's a good guy. He brings nothing to the plate offensively. He's a decent enough, defensive catcher, but with, Romuto getting up in age, and then he caught that ball in the throat last night. I was worried if he was going to be out a couple weeks and you had to ride, Stubbs for a week, 2 weeks at a time. I thought that was going to leave a big hole in the lineup. But I don't think so. I think Stubbs finishes the year here, and I think next year is probably when they upgrade that backup catcher spot.
Is there early prediction of who that might be, or is it too early?
I think it's too early. I mean, I don't really think they have much in the organization that could come up and take that job. I mean, like Disson's down the lower level. Some of these,
not yet.
Some of these top prospects are lower guys. I mean, I think Marchand maybe a year or so ago was thought of as a guy that could come in and be a really solid backup, but he's been hurt for like 2 years now. And again, I think he's another guy, good defensive catcher, not a great offensive weapon. Yeah. So I think, there's always guys out there, backup catchers, veteran guys that you can grab that could give you 40 games and, hit pretty decent. So I think that's where they'll be looking. But I don't have anybody in mind right now.
I'm not sure if this dude's available, but I want him if he is, strictly based upon his nickname. And he's a left-handed batter, catcher from Seattle Mariners, Cal Raleigh. Do you guys know what his nickname is?
It's something about big
Yeah.
ass or something. It's something about his ass.
Big dumper. Big dumper.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I love that. Like, come on, we could use a big
It's
dumper.
funny.
He homered today. I think he hit the game.
Yeah, he did.
An extra inning.
It's funny
yeah.
you mentioned that too, because me and Dugan were watching the same game because at the end, and automatically I thought of this is a guy that I wanted when Stubbs was like quote unquote a free agent.
Yep.
Mitch Garver would have been a perfect backup for just this year. He hits, he calls a good game, and he only lost his job in Texas last year when he got hurt and Jonah Heim took over. And then he went to Seattle this year. He's backing up Cal Raleigh. I would have loved Mitch Garver to spell. He could have spelled JT for like 40, 50 games. And
Bob has an idea here.
I was going to put good for you.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, yeah, you know what, Bob? Well, it's. They'll think about it. I'm sure.
Settle down, Bob. Settle down.
Yeah,
Harper to catcher,
that's
JT to first.
Yeah, that's like my nephew said. My nephew said he was listening to radio. It's probably WIP because it wasn't my station. Somebody said, "Oh, Trey Turner played 118 games in center field before." I'm like, "Nah, like relax." Like,
yep, that was WIP. I saw the post. It was move Turner to
it had
center.
to be WIP.
Stott to short and Merrifield at second. That's your starting line. Your starting.
Yeah, that's wild. Turner bobbles enough balls as fucking short as it is. I don't need him bobbling out there.
Good stuff, guys. Thank you. Hey, Chris, I got a two-parter. You got a pen? First of all,
go ahead.
Winning lineups are consistent lineups. So why so much platooning in the beginning of this year, and why is Marsh stuck in a platoon situation? That's part two.
That's part one or part two? I'm confused now. Mike,
can you hear him, Mike?
Are you able to hear me?
Sorry, what did you say?
I'll answer. Yeah, no, you said that's part two. I was like, is that part one, or did you like screw around with me and say like I'm going to give you part two first? All right. So what I would say is like I agree with the consistent lineups. I think there's situations, in Philadelphia history where we know that platooning has worked, and I'm obviously referring to '93. Where we had Duncan and Morandini and Caviglia, Eisenreich, that whole thing. I think that's special. I think it's different. I don't think it's the norm. Much like we believe that there should be set roles in the bullpen, I think that there should be set roles in the batting order. Now, unfortunately, there mostly was, and we just kind of don't agree with him a little bit. And we saw a little bit of a tweak of a change today where, Marsh is obviously hitting the ball well and he moved up. I don't think that they've ever had the lineup that we want or that is the optimal lineup. And I know that there was this study, like it's pretty much the optimal lineup. I think that there's other things into play, and Thompson worries too much about right, left, right, left, right, left. I'm a big believer that Marsh should play every day and Stott should play every day. And every day, I mean every day. Like, I think there are 140 to 150 game guys. The unfortunate part in the beginning is like Stott's playing so poorly, right? Or hitting so poorly. His fielding, he's a Gold Glover. Like that catch today he made was awesome, a line drive. I was like, Jesus, I couldn't even see it. And no, I'm kind of far away and old. But that comes into it. I'm a big believer in a set lineup. I think all off season we've kind of talked about, we got beat by small ball. We don't want the home runs. They're listening, man. They are not hitting extra bases. I saw more singles in this St. Louis series than John had on him when he went to a Boston trip.
Hey.
So I gotta bring in some people that are on here. So Greg says Stott needs to play every day.
Roman guy.
Greg's
That's
smart.
my boy.
Oh, is he?
But hold
Class of
on a
96,
second.
baby.
But hold on
All
a
right.
second. I got exception with this one. Greg also says Marsh has not yet proved that he can consistently hit left-hand pitching. I don't necessarily agree with that.
I agree with the
I don't
first.
think
but
he
not the
hits it as
second.
well. I don't think he hits it as well as he hits right-handers. But if you've noticed, Marsh has been going to right field a lot. I mean, to left field a lot. I love that in a
Yeah.
hitter. Like, to me, that's
100%.
he's doing something different, man. And for power.
So here's where I think Greg has been hitting the pen a little bit. Like, here's my third one on Greg. Oh, sorry, this is Rob. My bad. Rojas has proven he can hit any pitching. Does anybody agree with that?
I think he just missed the NT after the
He
has.
can't. Yeah, he can't.
Yeah.
Can't.
proven.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, you forgot the apostrophe T. Got
Married
it.
to my cousin, so I'll smack him
Yeah.
next time I see him.
Very good. Very good.
We love Bob. Is Bob still hurt?
Yeah, I'm wondering if Bob still hurt his leg.
Yeah, Bob, are you still hurt? You still got the link? We got to know.
Is he taking a lot of Vicodin? Is that the deal?
It might be.
Oh, he said it was a joke. My bad. All right, I didn't see 9 things down. He said it was a joke. All right,
I'll still smack Bob next time I see
Hey,
him. though.
that's a great point.
His bases are loaded too. It's all good.
Well, let's
Great.
stick on Rojas. Let's stick on Rojas for a second. Then Johnny, he had a few hits. What does that buy him? Does that buy him some time with the big club? What's your
might.
perspective on that? And
I mean,
after Johnny, I'd love to hear everybody.
I threw this in the group chat with you guys, like what I think it was yesterday or the other day. So I put up something. I commented to a friend of mine on Twitter, and I said, "Yeah, I mentioned on our podcast that he should get till this weekend, like this coming weekend now, and set him down and let him get some everyday reps and figure out his swing and whatever." And some one follower troll came at me. Well, I think you're a bozo, and I'll look forward to coming at your bozo takes all year. And I think you should get 300 at bats. I'm like, whoa, 300 at bats up here? No. And then I think one of you said 300. I agree with 300 bats total, but down there, I'm cool with that. Like, send them down, let them get like a 300 bats down there or something, but not up here. But I extended. Yeah, he had a nice game. He hit the ball. I think it buys up till next weekend. Honestly, I can't stand the automatic outs, and not even it's just him. But when they put in that Stubbs lineup, they're lucky. They're lucky. The 2 times they played Stubbs so far, they've won because of the middle of the lineup. The heart of the order. But I mean, that could have been a disaster. Stubbs could have been an automatic, Rojas, and then you got fucking Schwarber. The Schwarber's got more singles than Kraft, So I mean, I think it buys until next weekend.
Yeah, you said that before, so I appreciate that. There's two things I want to bring up from comments. Do we need a Oregon player at Citizens Bank Park, like all these other parks that we go to?
Yes.
I'll open that up to everybody.
Yeah, I mean, you watch some of these reels or TikToks or whatever, and like you see like Chicago has like a proper one. You think like the guy that we had before, his name escapes me. I'm sure you guys know it. Then
I forget his name. He was in the outfield at Citizens Bank.
I just feel it's something that's intrinsic to the game that's missing. We wanted an old school looking ballpark that's kind of like shaped after Camden Yards, which was shaped after, places of yesteryear. I don't really want to hear Doja Cat or whatever the fuck they're playing. Honestly,
Right.
I don't even know. Like I just said Doja Cat because my wife likes that "Paint the Town Red" song, and I think that's her because it's on the Spotify. I'm not going to act like I fucking know anything about current music, but I think it's important. And I don't know about you guys, but I love playing with my organ. And I think that everyone should be able to play with their organ.
Are you a donor?
Every Saturday morning, you know what? I am a donor. And every Saturday and Sunday morning, me and Larry Ferrari used to sit around and we used to play
Larry Ferrari was a pimp, dude.
Yeah, love Larry. I would put on Al Alberts and then a little Larry Ferrari. And
Watch
I
the
just
green-
had Captain Melon in between.
Watch the greengrocers squeeze the melons. Right?
Love with
Oh,
you.
Yeah, that was very sensual.
Yeah, I think the organ's important because, like, remember for a little bit, like they got rid of it. They just brought it back like last year or the year before, maybe World Series year. They got rid of it for a while, and they finally. I actually followed a guy on Twitter. So hey, everybody out there, follow the Phillies organist guy on Twitter. He needs some help, like on the Fowler tip. But they just brought a guy in like a couple years ago. And like, thank God, because like Chris said, I'm tired of hearing all the boom, 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 whatever. But the one thing I got to say about the organ, the end of games when the pitcher's pitching, please stop doing the Rocky shit every fucking pitch. That shit is annoying. Like that, like it's the same result.
I hear you. I just got one more before
it was like very well typed out. I'm like, I didn't know we had that type of DPF community, and I appreciate that. That was good stuff.
Yeah, that was good.
Fuck the Mets.
Fuck the Mets.
I missed what you said, Chris. Were you talking about this?
Oh no, I did see this. So Paul, this is funny. Like we didn't really advertise this. It's more of an Easter egg. So everyone who has a DPF shirt, you got an FTM in the mugs. So it's there. Look close. It's in every one of them that has the mugs.
It's my favorite.
We just didn't tell anyone. We just
awesome.
kind of that.
Love it. Cool. So what I wanted to get to next with you, Chris, is so are you less frustrated with the Phillies since last week, or more frustrated, or about the same? Us being kind of hovering around this 500 mark after the slow start.
Well, I think it's much less this week. I'm feeling really good about them, honestly. And I think a lot has to do with me going to WrestleMania on Sunday. You went to WrestleMania. I'm just kind of like feeling good about being down at the ballpark area. It was like the first time I left there this season that I was like, wow, I just saw something really awesome. No, I'm feeling about the same, I'd say. You're looking at a team that is supposedly, not good. They're great and they're underperforming. And it's the continual story of chasing 500 in the spring and then, waiting for them to heat up towards the middle of the year. And then, unfortunately, most years they actually revert to April and May Phillies in October and November. We got no hit 2 years ago. Like, was anyone really surprised? We weren't super surprised. We were kind of like, we could get no hit any day. I still feel the same. I don't feel that kind of good feeling about, okay, like we're going to get them. We were down like last night when it was 3-0. I was just like, yo, this is a wrap, dude. Like they just don't have what it takes to right now to be able to overcome that. So about the same, Mike. I'm just not really happy with, it's nice to get series wins. That's the tough part. But like, it's loser mentality to think that 5-6 is okay, right? Or, I just don't love it.
I hear you. Dugan, kind of a follow-up on that. So based on how the Phillies have played thus far, and then looking at the rest of the schedule for April, where do you think the Phillies will end up in the standings at the end of this month? And then what do you really think they should end up by the end of this month with the schedule that they have?
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. They probably got maybe 15, 17 games left in April.
Yep.
And the schedule is favorable. The early part of the schedule has been favorable, other than having the Braves to open the season. So I agree with Chris. Like, I kind of feel the same way about the Phils. Like, they've been disappointing starting the season out. I'm encouraged by the pitching because I think the pitching has been excellent. Starting pitch has been really good. The bullpen has come around. Little hiccups here and there, but after that first weekend with the Braves, they've been pretty solid out of the bullpen. I think it's going to be typical April for the Phillies. They'll be hovering around 500 when April ends. When they probably should be about 6 games above 500 when April ends. I still think they're, even with Strider getting hurt from the Braves, I don't think the Phillies are on the Braves level. The Braves hit every night. They hit every night, up and down that lineup. And the Phillies,
I think they're hitting over 300 as a team. I just looked at it today. I think they're like 313. It's crazy.
Yeah. And our boy Attaboy Arcia is leading the National League in hitting. So like they're a good team. They hit. The Phillies are hot and cold. When they're hot, they can beat anybody. When they're cold, they can lose to anybody. So I'm expecting the same thing. Like, I wanted a fast start. 6-6 after 12 games is not a fast start in my book. And I think they kind of play mediocre baseball through the rest of April. Maybe 500, maybe a couple games over, but not anywhere where we thought they would end up.
I want to interject a second with Bob again, which he says, it's the Phil's turn to finish the story. And like, I really like this comment, and I'm just going to explain it real quickly because it's a wrestling thing. So Cody Rhodes was fighting Roman Reigns, and they've been fighting for 2 years, but Cody always got the short end. He was like right there on the precipice. Renee loves it when I say that word. They were right there on the precipice. She basically doesn't love it. She says, I'm like trying to use big words and sounds smart. But the whole like arc of his thing was he has to finish the story. The Phils have to finish the story. It cannot end in what could have been. It has to end in a championship or it's failure. So, Bob, thank you for bringing wrestling into this. That was awesome. I appreciated it.
Thank God you're on the call, Chris, because I would have never fucking picked up on that. Yeah. But what I picked up on was this one. So weather sucks, too early to tell with Rojas. So I have a double parter again for you, Chris. Sorry, I'm throwing two parters at you all the time. So the first part I will ask you and then answer, and then I'll give you the second part. So there's been a lot of focus on Rojas at the plate, and rightly so. Anybody else that's frustrated you this far at the plate? And if so, who and why?
I mean, I would say Whit Merrifield has more strikeouts than I expected from him. I expected him to put the ball in play. Nick Castellanos, like that's an obvious one just because like he just hasn't been performing. But the guy we're giving a pass, and there's one reason, because we know he's not going to end up like this, but but Harper has been fucking terrible, except for a 1-3 home run game. Like Harper has just been bad. He obviously cares. He's not disinterested. We see a different kind of demeanor, but that worries me. And also, like the other guy that does is stop. Like his 2-strike approach should be his 1st-strike approach, because I feel like he's getting late to the ball. He's swinging at balls that are like not in the zone, and then he's like letting balls in the zone go by. Maybe this is what Kevin Long teaches, because it seems to prevail up and down the lineup. Fastball down the middle, avoid it. Soon. You know, anything that's borderline or outside, take a huge swipe at it. Just fuck it.
Yeah, we'll get to that Kevin Long discussion soon, but I appreciate that. But the second part is, so from that comment about weather, so should early April games be played in warmer climates or domed / retractable roofed stadiums, in your opinion?
So no, I don't, because then then when do we play here? Or, you know, what we have to get a dome to play in April? Like, to me, that's like just an unfair statement. I would never agree to it. Now, lessening the amount of games back into the, 1920s, 30s, and 40s to 154. Yeah, okay, start in mid-April. Maybe that's the kind of answer instead of starting in March. Like, what the fuck you think you're going to get in March in Cleveland and Pittsburgh and, Toronto? Like, I mean, some of them are domes, but it's a disaster. No, I can't agree with that, because I love opening day, and like, I don't want opening day here to be like May 15th or May 1st. I need it in April 15th.
Well, I think the reason for the early start is the extended playoffs. I mean, you got more rounds, more teams, more games, and then but to counter that point with the weather is you're going to be playing playoff games in Philadelphia in late October. You might have this weather that you're having in early March or late March and early April in October, cold.
It's the same weather, right?
It's the
March
same
and
weather.
October are the same.
We've been lucky the last few years in the playoffs that the weather's been as nice as it has been here.
Yeah.
I think we had the one rain out last year in the playoffs, but the weather's been fantastic. Luckily in October, but you run that same risk end of the year, beginning of the year, and it's the same weather.
You remember the 07 year when we made the playoffs and we got totally killed by the Rockies. The one game it was flurrying out there.
Yeah,
snow flurries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were just happy to be there at that point, though, John.
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't been here forever. We're like, fuck it.
I know.
We can do whatever it wants.
The Weather Center just chimed in.
Yeah, the Weather Center.
Weather,
baby.
just wait, fellas.
Yeah.
So I'm sure we'll see from them. Johnny, I got one for you, my friend.
All right.
I got, actually, we're going to do a quick trivia before I ask you that question.
No problem.
And Chris is exempt from this or barred from this because he gave it to me. But between Dugan and Johnny, there are two teams in the entirety of Major League Baseball that have a closer by committee, and clearly the Phillies are one of them. Can you name the other?
Closer by committee.
Closer by committee.
They got to suck.
What's that?
Athletics?
Yep, the A's. You got it. So, Johnny, I'm glad you answered that correctly. So, my question to you is, why do you think the Phillies refused to assign a designated closer?
Because non-seriously, because Thompson's been hitting some rock under a K&A recently. But seriously, I really don't know. I do not know. I texted in the group chat the other day. I said his new name is Cautious Clay. Like, I do not understand his handling of pitchers. I wish he would just name one and get just try one out for a while and go with one. Now Hoffman got the save today, right? But that was like one of three. They tried him out. I would not mind them naming Hoffman the closer. See how it goes.
I
just
thought
try
today
something.
bringing Hoffman out was a really smart move, John. And
Yeah,
why? Because
exactly.
like yesterday, like he didn't have the greatest
He
outing,
sucked.
Right.
and it
Yep.
got him right back in there. I love
Yeah.
that move.
It just built his confidence up. Like
Yep.
he's like, all
But
right.
I'm just wondering. They said Alvarado was unavailable. So if Alvarado was available, would he have been the choice there rather than Hoffman? We'll never know.
We
But
don't know.
What reminds it reminds me though, it's back to the Gabe Kapler shit with the high leverage reliever, so like they're looking to bring Alvarado in,
Yeah.
like bring him in the 7th if they find that that's the biggest spot, like 4-5, 3-4-5 coming up in the 7th. Let's go. That's the inning where we could lose this game. Let's use our
Right.
best guy here, and then we'll piece it together on the back end to try and close the game out. And it haunts me. Like you just don't, I don't know. Every team that's ever won has had a dedicated closer. It's the same
Exactly.
guy that they got fucking music, they got lights, they got the whole shit, and they come in the game and they close it out.
Rivera, Hoffman, all them dudes, like fucking like entrance songs and shit. Even Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh has David Bednar. He comes out the fucking renegade by 6. We ain't got no guy. We got the guy waiting for a sandwich in the deli going.
Made Kimbrel the closer last year. They said you're our guy and you're the closer, and he had the light show and the music and the whole shit.
So hang on. The Weather Center says MIT Analytics says closer by committee for 2 teams out of 30.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Fuck those nerds.
And you know what? You know what too? I like Albie. I love Albie, but I think he's like that 8th inning. I think he's more of a setup guy than a closer. I think he has that setup stuff. He doesn't have the shutdown stuff. I think Hoffman does have that shutdown stuff. And remember before the season started, I said Kirkring, Alvarado, Hoffman, whatever mixture, you figure out what their placement is. That's a scary back end. I think Kirkring sets them up, and then you bring in Alvarado and you try Hoffman out for a while.
I'd love to see Kirkring take the job. Just come in.
I would too.
Exactly too.
Just take the job.
I'm just scared that
I'm more than cool with that. I'm more than cool with that.
I'm just scared that the flu is more than an arm injury.
Do you think guys think that Kirkering got exposed a little bit because his fastball is not a great pitch and it's pretty straight, and he's relying on that slider cutter though? Because that's what I saw, and that's the only thing that worries me is like
a little bit.
I mean, he can't throw 90% of those, right? He has to get ahead with the fastball because then that sets that up. But I feel like his confidence lacked, which he can get. But do I want a rookie dude earning his bones and figuring shit out up here? No, I just don't.
Yeah.
Yes.
I get
what
that.
I mean, that's what I mean. Let him be the 7th inning guy. Let him work his way up to that. Don't throw him in the fire right away. Just over the course of the season. And it might be even next season. Who knows? But at least this year, throw him out there in the 7th. All right, here you go. You're going to be, or even the 8th, certain situations, whatever. But don't throw him in the fire at the 9th, right away. But eventually I could see him being that guy. But to your point, you're right, Chris, about that fastball. He's got to, I heard he was working on that in the offseason, but I guess we'll see when he comes back this weekend.
Yeah,
there are a lot of closers that were one pitch closers. I mean, Rivera with the cutter and Hoffman with the changeup, like that.
Hoffman had a nasty changeup.
Yeah, they were one pitch guys. Bruce Sutter threw the slider. So there's a lot of guys that were one pitch closers if it's a dominant pitch.
Yeah.
And if he can get that slider, cutter, sweeper, whatever the hell he calls his pitch, to be a dominant pitch, then you can live with it being the pitch you throw 90% of the time.
You almost don't want him to throw for a strike, though, right, Chris? You almost want him to down and in, or down and away. So that's. But he can.
Johnny, can I double up with you? Or you be mad at me if I do?
Nah, good.
So, Phillies revealed their City Connect uniforms last week. And this Friday at CBP will be their debut against Buccos. Give us your initial opinion, right? And then your opinion now that you've had some time to digest them and seen them a few times. What do you think?
When that whole leak came out, I was like, this is fucking terrible. The font's terrible. They had neon green in like the original, like, the fake jersey sites are putting out jerseys already. And I'm like, whoa. It's probably not going to be that. Whatever. Like, I'm not worried about it. I just hope they don't suck. And I keep getting told online, well, that's going to be it. That's going to be it. We're going to mess it up. Whatever. So I kept, ignoring it. When I seen the initial picture of them wearing it, I'm like, oh, this is nice. Then I saw people that, like, friends of ours, Fandemic Crew and all, they were actually down there for the drop. And they showed the racks of them hanging on the racks. And I'm like, oh, now I got an up close and personal view of them. I actually like them. I actually do. And it's not as horrible as like it looked online with the leaks, because they had like neon green, the second rate, jersey sites were already trying to sell them back like 6 months ago and shit. So, but it's actual like it's almost like a Union, like Philadelphia Union, like yellow or gold, kind of mustard, whatever. Yeah, it's pretty much that. I do like them because it's the city flag colors. That's what they were trying to go for. I do like the emblem on the side. And what I prefer is for the City Connects that they don't get an advertiser this year, that they leave that love patch here and they do the 20 years of the CBP on here, hopefully. I hope they don't get an advertiser and just do this 20 years patch. But I mean, I pick them. The only problem is we were joking in the group chat. Whoever designed the number 7 fucked it all up because it looks like the Riddler. It looks like Turner's out there as the Riddler. So like Nola, anybody with a 7 in their uniform is bad. But like
Looks like
Harper's
shit.
good. Yeah. So I couldn't. The jersey sold out so fast I couldn't get one. I was trying to get one, but I got the hat coming. I got the sleeveless shirt coming, and I got a Harper jersey coming. So
wait a minute, sleeveless shirt, suns out, guns out for the Johnster? Hell yeah!
So, all right. So
WrestleMania got me hyped, man. I was like, yo.
So two things.
Eat your vegetables, drink your standards. John's running wild on
you guys. Nick agrees with you guys. Looks like the Union, and the sleeveless shirt is how I feel these things look. They look like.
I dig it though.
When I played,
and I like it. It's not horrible. It's not. I mean, like it's not like they could have did like what I wanted them to do, and what they did is two different things. But at least they kept it in like fabric with the city and shit. And
yeah, but it looks like when I played softball.
My only one complaint is the 2 stars. I don't think the 2 stars on the side of the belt.
I mean, if that's your only complaint, I think it's fine.
Yeah, well, I think the stars were for the 2 championships. I think that's why they
okay.
did it too.
Oh, no, that's cool then.
I don't know, but I think that's why they did it.
Well,
and that's like a soccer thing.
Because that fucks me up. Because remember that one year they did the the hat they have with the cream uniforms on Sundays and day games and all. Yeah. Remember that one year they tried 2 stars on the side of the P with that red and blue? That's why I hated it. But what I do dig is if you look inside the bell, it's the city skyline. It's cool as shit. So I mean, I'm gonna be getting my man Alec Boehm and a City Connect very soon. And Johnny's gonna have a City Connect outfit for the park too.
I'm a little bummed because I'm missing. I have tickets on Friday, but Carrie's taking my sister-in-law because I'm out here in Albuquerque. So, Dugan, I got a question for you, my friend. If you think about this team, right, it's basically 90 or so % the same team as last season. It's basically the same issues we had last season. So if you were Topper, what would you do to make this team achieve more or achieve better than last year's team with the same basic players?
I'm not sure he can do much. I mean, you got a lot of veteran guys, and what's the old saying? You can't teach an old dog new tricks, right? So I think those older veteran guys are what they are. You're not going to get them to change their approach. If they're big free swingers, they're going to be big free swingers.
But what would you do?
What would I do? I mean,
Yes.
But
obviously,
Chris, let me stop you for a second. Like, our wives haven't tried to stop teaching old dogs new tricks. Like, they're still trying to train us and get us to like act like humans.
have you
most of the time.
changed? Have you changed?
No, but they're not stopping trying.
I don't think the Phillies are stopping trying either. I'm sure they're preaching, make more contact, do this, but it's not going to change. These guys are what they are. They've made their money being what they are. They made their names and their accolades by what they are. Obviously, I want them to play more contact baseball. I want the game to be played the way it was played when I was younger, and the way I was taught. Put the ball in play, 2 strikes, cut down your swing, choke up on the bat. Just try and put the barrel to the ball. I mean, today, bases loaded, 1 out. Schwarber strikes out, Turner strikes out. I mean, in that situation, a fly ball gets you a run. A ground ball might get you a run. Anything gets you a run. And I think those are the little things the Phillies don't do that an Arizona does, that Atlanta does, that the Astros do, that these teams that are perennial winners, they're not that Arizona's a perennial winner, but they're on the up and coming. I think they're going to be a good team for years to come. They do those little things. They're not big swingers. They're put the ball in play type guys, first to third type guys, move runners up type guys. The Phillies just don't do that. And I think that's the problem. They're a boom or a bust team. And everybody keeps saying, wait till they get hot. Well, my counter to that is every hot team gets cold. A consistent team is consistent. And the Phillies can get hot enough to beat the Braves in a series. They can get hot enough to beat the Dodgers in a series. And they can go stone cold in a middle of a series and lose 3 straight, 3 out of 4 to Arizona. So I'd much rather preach consistency than the all or nothing that we have right now.
Out of the 5 wins that we've had, I'd say that 4 of them were small ball wins. Would you guys agree with that?
Yeah, they're not hitting the long ball, and they're not even hitting doubles.
Yeah.
They're not even hitting
The
doubles.
the Weather Center agrees with you about today.
Yeah.
I mean that's the key. You got base hits, 8 singles today. I mean, I'd rather them play that way than rely on the 3-run homer because they don't always come. But move guys along, sack flies. Bunt a guy up. Like, I know the game's not played that way anymore, but it's winning baseball to me, and I wish the Phillies did more of it.
Papa John had a good one. I just can't read it because there's the P word in it. Chris, I got one for you. So I was watching that game today out here in Albuquerque on my phone at a brewery. I know it shocks everybody. And like, even on a little tiny screen, I could tell that, there were some really bad calls. So should baseball institute the ball strike challenge system at the Major League Baseball level in the wake of the awful umpiring we've been seeing at the beginning of this season, balls and strike wise? In your opinion?
So I think this is a 2-part question, even though I'm not sure you framed it as 2 parts. The first part was, I knew we had the podcast today and I saw that you were in a brewery and I did tell you to drink the menu and I think you did.
This is the last
and then
one,
right before the podcast, you're like, oh, this one's a malt liquor that's 10.2%. I was like, Jesus Christ, I'm a little
10.5,
jealous
please.
right now. I knew it was a double figure. So here's my idea, and I like having the instant replay, of some of the base path stuff because I think it's overturned some important things and given the, managers or bench coaches that, small opportunity to be able to change it. I think that there should be something a little bit simpler first. And it's almost like you tell us that you're doing this. I don't know, put a wristband on these guys, put the Altuve, whatever he was wearing underneath his jersey, the buzzer, and they know immediately before the call, if it buzzes, it came through the fucking strike zone on this dude. And you can choose to do it or not. But I think that something like that would be helpful to the managers. I don't want to do the whole let's check the pitch. At what point does that stop? I don't know. Right now, Mike, what would they do 20 times a game? Why would
I'm not sure
everything's so close?
Yeah, I'm not sure what the minor league thing is, but I saw it at the Iron Pigs when they were at Worcester last year, and then when I saw them at the Iron Pigs. And the catcher or the batter can tap. And I don't know how many times you're allowed to do it, but they can tap their hat and they check it, and it's literally seconds, and it's either a yes or a no. And because they have that, that
I was talking to one of
rectangle.
you guys about it. I don't remember which one it was, but remember the strike zone is 3D. It's not a two-dimensional box, or a one-dimensional box. Actually, if a ball goes through, this box, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a strike, because where is that box? Is it the front of the plate or is it the back of the plate? I don't know that. So I think a lot of this bullshit is because there's this fucking box up there now. I wonder if they took the box down, if we would be pissing and moaning as much.
Well, I think there are certain people the four of us on this call and our fans that would bitch and moan because we know what a strike is and what it isn't. But to your point, a layperson that's watching, Angel Hernandez to Nick Lamb's point on there, he's brutal. You can tell if the box is there or not, whether he calls a strike that is, basically at a guy's eyes or down by his ankles. That's Angel Hernandez's MO. So I get that.
I think
part.
a lot of these guys are brutal because they're either always setting up inside or setting up outside, and they're missing one or the other. They're not missing down the middle except for the fucking brutal ones. But some guys, they're just known as that. And Chris, too, we were pitchers. If you know it and the batter knows it, I'm okay with it as long as it's consistent for both sides. It's not because he's a little bit better pitcher. I fell in love with the curveball and it's always on that outside and it's not a strike. If they're consistent, I think the main problem is they're completely inconsistent with the calls. One time it's a strike and the next time it's not. It's either always got to be or it's never got to be. But
agreed.
Yeah. As bad as Angel Hernandez is, do you remember that playoff game, the Florida Marlins against the Atlanta Braves? Eric Gregg behind that plate.
Yes.
Ron Hernandez had 17 strikeouts.
Yes.
I don't think he threw a fucking strike I don't think he threw a strike that entire game. And he had 17 fucking strikes. The pitch that struck Fred McGriff out to end that series was 4 feet outside. It was unbelievable.
And Dugan.
Horrible.
And Dugan, that's why Eric Gregg was working a chicken and pizza at the vet at his last days.
Every time I saw him there, I walked in, I said, "You were terrible, dude. You were fucking terrible." I got kicked out of Chicken Pizza at least 4 times for yelling at him.
Nice.
I got kicked out at least 2. You fucking suck.
Nick is all about taking the technology, get the clock out of here.
Nick.
Get the technology out of the game.
It's the pitch clock.
Let's get back to regular baseball. So, Nick, I think you're preaching to the choir here.
I just read a report by Dr. James Andrews, the Tommy John specialist, and he believes that not only has the pitch clock changed the trajectory of the amount of elbow problems, but he believes that kids are throwing curveballs and kind of trying to throw 80, 90 at a younger age where their tendons aren't grown up enough to be able to do this. And they said, you probably shouldn't be doing max effort at 16 and doing these type of things.
Think about the way things are now compared to when we were growing up. I mean, most of us were probably multiple sport athletes. You played baseball in the summer, you played basketball or soccer or another sport in the winter. And then you rolled back around in the spring and you were back in baseball. Now these kids are 365. They're being asked to dedicate their life to one sport, at the age of 8. You got indoor facility. I mean, I would have loved it as a kid to be able to hit all winter long and throw all winter long, but they're training 365 to be hard throwers and, one sport athletes. And I think that really leads to this issue we're seeing now. I mean, these guys
that's
are just,
probably even a better point than like blaming a pitch clock, right? Like they've been throwing max effort for 20 years, and they're 23.
I mean, things have changed, things have changed. Whatever your sport of choice is, you can do it all year round now. And you're expected to. You're expected to commit to one sport.
Actually reading an article about the some people or some athletes when they're in college, if they have just a slight injury, they're opting for Tommy John to get it over with so that then they don't have to do it later on, which is that's crazy to me.
But that's mind-boggling too, because Strider had one at Clemson. Now he might possibly be having another one in his pro career.
No,
he had one at Clemson in like 2019. They said. But to your point, Chris, I heard on the radio. I was listening to Fanatic yesterday. They were talking about this. Like Andrews was talking, like it's these coaches that are getting these kids to throw like curves and like different pitches and maneuver their arms aren't like fully functional yet, like fully grown yet. Like they're still going through pre-puberty. You got them throwing their arms every which way, but it's out.
I don't have the actual stats, but it was like 10% of the like pitchers were throwing above 95 as max, and maybe this was 10 or 15 years ago. And now it's something crazy, like 75% of pitchers are 95 or above, or something like radically different. So
yeah, it's nuts. And they were saying on the radio, they were saying you got these gung-ho dads like, yeah, I'm gonna, you gotta throw this. You gotta, when everybody's else is sleeping, you gotta be awake and all. It's like the kid's 15 or 16. He shouldn't have a 4-pitch fucking repertoire, already. You know what I mean?
All right. This is a very deep subject, so I'm going to transition to a trivia question. You guys ready?
Yep.
It's a great discussion, but we need to lighten it up a little bit.
There you go.
Because my elbow hurts. So, April 10th, which does anybody know what April 10th is?
Today.
It's today. So April 10th, 1971 was the first game at iconic Veterans Stadium. Kind of the stadium that built all four of us, if I would be so bold.
Chris, Don Money.
Yes.
There were several firsts at the Vet that day. Can you name the players that had the first hit, the first homer, the first win at Veterans Stadium that day? There was a hit, a homer, and a win that day.
I'm going to say Boa had the first hit.
Yeah,
you are correct, sir.
I was about to say Boa with the hit.
First,
and I know I got Don Money right.
Homer.
Is that the homer? Is that the homer?
Yep.
Who got the win? That was pre-lefty. So Rick Wise.
Don't look in the comments because Bud just got it.
I would have to say.
I'll have the comments up.
I'm going to say either Jim Bunning or Stan Bonson.
Bunning, you got it. So did Bud. I have a bonus question.
Ding, ding, ding.
So as the bonus question, do you know who caught the ball dropped from the helicopter in the pregame festivities
Chris.
that day?
Irish Mike
Oh.
Ryan.
Yeah. Oh, you
Dude,
jumped the
you
fucking
can't
gun,
just
John,
butt
you
in, John.
motherfucker.
You
Sorry, I
goddamn.
forgot to hit the John button. Sorry.
All right, brothers.
We'll give that to
Chris,
Chris.
I'm sorry, Dugan.
Did he start a brawl after that, Irish Mike Ryan? Did he
I'm
just start
pretty sure
fighting
he
everybody?
did.
I'm
yeah,
sure.
Yeah, pretty sure. Dugan and John, I got 2 questions left, and then we'll wrap this up. But Dugan, I think I want to ask you this question. I think we can all agree that there's been some routine plays at shortstop that have not been made at the outset of this season. Do you think there's any chance the Phillies would consider make a shortstop second base swap with Stott and Turner? And if not, or if so, if you were the manager, would you do that?
No, I would not make that change. At least not right now, because I think right now that Turner's serviceable at shortstop. He's not great. He's not terrible. He's serviceable. He's going to make his error, but you have a Gold Glove second baseman. If you were to flip the two, you may have 2 average fielders now: an average second baseman with Turner, an average shortstop with Stott. I think right now you have one Gold Glover, one serviceable. Now Turner's contract's 10 years. We got 9 years left of him. At some point, that may have to become a discussion, just because age may limit his, range and mobility at shortstop. But as of right now, I think Stott's a Gold Glove second baseman, and I would not move him. I'd live with Turner at shortstop. And I think he's, he looks better than he did last year to me. He still has 3 errors. One of them was a throwing error in the rain, with a wet ball. So who knows, but I just think Turner's too good at second base, or Stott's too good at second base to make that change right now.
Thank you, sir. Johnny, the Phillies have until somewhere in the early part of May to see how Turnbull produces. So that means like 4 more starts. If Turnbull keeps up the same production, would you or would you not replace him in Walker's spot when Walker is available? And if you would, what would you do with Walker? And this is a 3-parter. If you're Double D, what do you do if Turnbull replaces Walker?
I'm liking what I'm seeing out of 2 starts of Turnbull so far. And Walker, like we were talking about previous episodes, do we think he's like, oh, you didn't put me in the playoff rotation last year? That could be half of that. I mean, I do believe he hurt something, but I do believe half of it is, I'm going to show you, fuck you, you know what I mean? I'm going to be hurt as well. Whatever. We got, I did read that earlier today, that we got probably about till early May before we have to make a decision, because how they're ramping Taiwan up is like they want to do like 75, and then I think it's like 55, whatever, like 25 pitch increments each time he's out to build him up to like 100 pitches or whatever.
Right. Yep.
So, what I would do, I would throw Walker in the pen, like earn your spot back. That's what I would do, because like I'm not going to take this dude out if he's hot. Say Turnbull goes like not that I think it's going to happen. I mean, I would love for it to happen. Not that he's going to go like 6-0, but I mean, say he goes like 4-1 in his next 5 starts or whatever. Like, I'm not taking him out. He's the hot hand. Like, you're going to go to the pen and we'll figure it out. Or if I'm Double D, I'm going to try to figure out a deal to a team that can absorb that contract. We might have to eat some of it, but I'd rather see that contract be gone rather than just sit here because he's going to mope anyway if he's not playing.
Yeah, you got a lot of supporters in the comments, and I put up earlier the weather centers. He said send him to Iron Pigs, and he can stay with him. Apparently, the weather center lives in Lehigh Valley.
You can send him to fucking Albuquerque.
I can hang out with him for the next couple of days.
There
we'll
you
see.
go.
Cool. Thank you, sir. I'm going to end us up before we have last comments with a trivia question from April so that I don't miss it. So the Phillies nickname appeared in the Philadelphia Inquirer for the first time on what date? And I'm going to give you multiple choice. Now, remember, John, if you want to answer, you have to say your name, John, or John Kruk. I'll accept. Okay. Oh, nice hat. Who gave you that?
Who gave me that?
The Phillies nickname appeared in the Philadelphia Inquirer for the first time in A, April 3rd, 1905, B, April 3rd, 1883, C, April 3rd, 1901, or D, April 3rd, 1909.
John, 1883.
Very good, John.
1883. Yeah.
Nice job. So I have a quote from that article. It says the Phillies, in quotation marks, did some heavy slugging in an exhibition against the amateur Manayunk Ashlands at Recreation Park. The Phillies played their inaugural season in 1883. They finished 17-81-1, but they beat the Ashland, whatever the hell their name was, the Manayunk Ashlands that day.
The Manayunk Mets.
Was that our record in 1996 too? Something like that. Yes,
17-81-1. Yeah, something like that.
So, John, I just saw something from Papa John. He said you actually got Tommy John surgery as well, but it was because you hurt yourself playing with your organ.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Whoa!
I had the full screen up.
Papa John. God dang.
Man.
He got it in high school, so he got it in high school, so he could keep doing it the rest of his life. You know.
Yeah.
All right, Johnny.
What Papa John doesn't know, it was only on the one elbow. I got two, baby.
There you go. Attaboy. Ambidextrous.
Johnny, any last words, my friend?
I did actually write something down.
Take your time, man.
Two quick little one-liners just to make the people laugh, but my honest feelings. Outside of the starting pitching and the pitching, the lineup has sucked more than Courtney Love at the Canadian border looking for a cheaper prescription. And as far as the lineup, these changes for the Phillies, absolutely fucking nothing because Topper's an asshole. And I know there was sympathy in the group chat earlier, but I know he's passed away for some time, and it's Gary Carter's 70th birthday. But fuck the Mets and fuck Gary Carter.
Jesus Christ, on his birthday, John. God damn,
good job, Johnny.
Shit.
Dude, good.
I'm going to say we have this is our first weekend of the City Connect, and unlike John, I think that jersey looks like shit. Just a shitty jersey. I like the patch. I'm going to say I like the patch, except for the V looks like a U. I don't know why they didn't make it look like a V, so it actually looked like the word love. But I'm looking for the Phillies to come home. They've won 2 straight road series. You got the Pirates coming in, who are record-wise playing pretty good, but I don't think they're a very good team. It's time to jump on them and take advantage, and let's get 3 out of 4 in this series, and maybe make this a nice April after all. After starting out 500, so I'm looking for the Phils to get on a good train right here, and the Buccos are the perfect team to come in and get us started.
Chris,
Fuck the Bucks. First and foremost, is what I want to say with that. But the other thing I want to say is, like, I don't know. I feel like our mojo's wrong. I feel like they have to bring a certain song back. And I'm not a believer in this, but I feel like the song's got to come back. We waited too long last year. Play the fucking song, Stubbs. And fuck the Mets.
I'm going to start with fuck the song. And then I'll say, just remember, guys, for all of your like internet and sound security, TV installation, intercom access needs, reach out to Pensive Technology at pensivetechnology.com today. They will hook you up with any of that stuff you need. Make sure you say that you heard it right here on DPF on Tap. Also remember, Philly Standard. We got the Philly Standard. We got the Philly Standard fruit punch in the blue can. Philly Standard's in the black can. The fruit punch Dugan has up. The black can Johnny has up. We got the Philly Standard orange. That's for the Flyers. I know they're shit in the bed. Buy the fucking orange and support them. And then we got the lime. The lime is coming up, guys. It's for the Eagles. We got a few months. We'll buy it anyway. Philly Standard.
And it's on tap only like 3 places, one of them being the DPF garage. So fucking cheers, gentlemen.
Every time Schwarber hits a homer, you go on the Yards app and you look up what bar is on the app. There's like 16 or 17 of them. You go get your free beer, guys. What I would love for you guys to do is get 40 or 50,000 free beers and make Yards make a lot more Philly Standard this year. Nice job. Check out our Facebook page. Hit the shop now button. We've got stuff like tumblers. We've got canvas shoes, like so comfortable. We've got do the plug before the 10%er. What does that mean? Oh, am I sharing? Is that why?
I saw that stuff.
Thanks, hon. Love you. Mean it. Last plug is
guys. They keep trying to change us.
Last plug
real quick, Mike. Just shout out to DPF daughter. Got the Orons on, baby. Avery calls them the Orons. I got the Orons on.
She
last plug is
that's awesome.
May 18th, guys. May 18th is DPF night, group night at Citizens Bank Park. Go on Philly's site, put in DPF 2024. You get the discount. Then you go on No Fly Zone. You get the tailgate. It's $50, all you can eat and all you can drink. You got Yards beers. You got Kiki vodka and Kiki seltzers. You got Primo's hoagies. They make pizzas and wings, and all of our friends from DPF will be there. $50, all you can eat and drink. $30 designated driver, all you can eat water and sodas. And also on our page, we are doing the Salute to Service. The Salute to Service game is that night, May 18th. Our shirts, if you buy them, all the proceeds, 100% of the proceeds go to Battle Brothers Foundation for folks that are serving our country now or in the past. And, those guys at Battle Brothers know how to help them out. We just need to fund them with our cash and our donations. So, hey, I appreciate you guys listening. Thank you so much. Fuck the Mets. Fuck Joe Carter. He ruined my childhood. And fuck Gary Carter and Nell Carter.
Jesus Christ.
Fuck Gary Carter.
This goddamn birthday.
Have a great night, guys.
Happy
Hey, go
70th,
Penn
bitch.
State. Go Penn State.